off on the T side, and Mir taking a fight at range against the USP. It doesn't normally favor too well for the Glock, but he's somehow still alive. Somehow neither of them have died yet.
Yeah, they're shooting rubber bullets. Amir's barely taken any damage, so Elian needs to check himself. He's got 12 bullets remaining for the rest of the round. Long control was taken with ease by SDY. No presence there from the defense. This is very mid-centric. Krad on catwalk looking down towards lower dark. Two players in middle looking for anyone to cross, anyone to be aggressive down the ramp. And it looks like there's the peak. Krad going to peer down, going to take a bullet to the face. This is good damage done by Spirit early on, even with no kills out.
Oh, it certainly is. It softened up all those targets. That's where the grenade can come in. It's just absolutely destroyed them. 3 players limping, make it 4 now. It's only Sunfire Young that's healthy, as they still manage to push their way and impose their will onto the site. A lot of weakened CT players now are falling by the wayside. Krad pushing inside the smoke, doing a lot of damage alongside his teammates. They're now starting to lock it down. A 2v1 falls upon the server, and it's Sunfire Young to try and clutch it out. Big goosh! But Krad is up to the task, and Entropiq, well, they get first blood again, this time on Dust 2.
Nice. Nicely done from Entropiq. And I want to go back to a point. I mean, if you're going to have an upset like this, or I guess it's not too much of an upset considering the world rankings, but I mean, if you're going to take down Spirit here, yeah, this feels like it'd be primed and ready after that marathon match of Nuke that you stole away. Got to be stressful and heartbreaking. But also, I mean, just the sense that you were able to go that long and outlast them and you know, be able to steal rounds away where they were making some mistakes. It feels like you should come into this map. And if the mental reset wasn't there for Spirit, then yeah, maybe Entropiq just gets out to a hot start and is able to run away with it. It's very, very possible.
Well, it's like you said, I think I don't know if it's 3rd or 4th overtime, but you said the next map is going to be scrappy as well. You know, there's a very high chance that we're going to be getting down into the sort of the mud and watching these teams kind of wrestle one another for any little scrap that they can get on the map. And it's kind of how that first round started. Unfortunately, we've had a timeout instantly afterwards. I assume this is of a technical issue, so hopefully that'll be resolved shortly. But yeah, I mean, if anything's to go by, then we're expecting this to be a real slug of a match. And that could be really entertaining, though. Like, I'm totally on board with that, because if the tactics go out the window for the most part, Dust 2 is the kind of map that could really play into that. So we could have fireworks.
Yeah, I was going to say, if there's any map to just throw the playbook out the window and get really weird with it, it's Dust 2. That'd be fantastic. I'm all down for that. And yeah, an early timeout kind of, you know, blunts our excitement, our momentum here that we're building up after Pisteron, but that's okay. Getting the ready signal from both teams, so no worries there. Going to be going live very, very shortly. 1-0 for Entropiq.
So a bit of information has been attained from the purchased. Sunfire Young has bought in last, but it will be a full-on investment from Spirit. Going to afford them some Tech 9s and Deagles, a fair few grenades as well for their troubles, and they're going up against the Scout with 2 MP9s alongside the rifles. So good spawn on a couple of these players towards the B side. Elian tries a speculative shot, does miss out. Spirit looking to try and swarm down tunnel. 3 players of the 5 positioned down up close now towards tunnels and mid respectively, but Krad is waiting with the M4, and if he gets the green light, he'll get aggressive. Lackey though, MP9 up close, is anticipating that flash, but still loses out, still comes out second best, and although the scout shots have landed a couple of times, Elian, he needs to be careful, because if he dies, the mid control may very well go with him.
That's got to be so frustrating. You don't get hit by the first flash, you successfully read the second follow-up flash coming in, and then you still kind of lose the fight after that. Good information. Flashbang from the CT side towards Catwalk. They hear the gunfire, and those are the pistols. That's the M4 Krad. He's backing away. He's got support from Nickelback, but it's nothing too impressive. It's just an SMG, and Krad is going to get swarmed here. He needs to hit a clean headshot. Tucking himself in real tight, making them swing wide, and SDY has a choice to make. He's got the kill, and now he can go for the plant. Or can he?
Yeah, I think unfortunately that window went with his teammate who's stuck on the site, didn't know where he's getting pushed from. And of course, you always get that opportunity for players to boost up on elevator or just jump up and shoot you. So kind of caught in two minds. Unfortunately for Spirit, that force buy pretty much yields very little in return. They can trade up to those M4s. They can go in for the SMGs again. They can keep that scalp. Money is building nicely. It's only Lackey that's below the $1,000 threshold, whereas Spirit, very little. I don't think they even have a Deagle in play here. So it's going to be Glocks and P250s. He said Entropiq getting a really good start would do them the world of good, keep that momentum going forward, keep them hot. And so far, they've definitely lived up to that mantle. Aggression through middle as well, initially from Lackey, but he thinks better of it and actually just pulls back. No, he actually goes back in again, but he's been potentially caught out. Mia, who got the AK, is now putting 2 headshots. Elian comes back with one of his own and a second as well. And it's just swinging back and forth. That AK's been picked up and used again. 3 casualties already falling for Entropiq.
Oh, Nickelback's been pulled towards mid. They're more than willing to give up that A bomb site, and they want to go for the retake, and certainly they wouldn't expect Nickelback to be here. He's getting so much information. He hears all this. And he's got one on top of the box. He knows the B bomb site was their target. Smoke's going to be a little bit late for the first player to swing in. And on top of the box, Nickelback now second-guessing himself is going to back away.
That's definitely interesting.
That feels odd, doesn't it? I'm not going crazy. I might be going crazy. But
I wonder if he's going to pick that kit up, because there is a kit at the top of middle, so maybe he realizes he may need to get the kit, but he hasn't even picked up the kit up, so I don't know.
I'm assuming he was just kind of trying to anticipate and take a guess that they would fall all the way back towards the other side of the map, but it instead confuses STY, who sat outside the window thinking he's going to flank through tunnels. And now all of a sudden a one-on-one, but he's pretty committed to the idea that Magix was going to be to the left. I think he was just trying to get the jump and read that they would come back to the A bomb site, that they would bail out, that they wouldn't continue to attack into him. But he was wrong on that assumption, which made it look a little bit weird, but we're all good.
What is no longer good, though, is the economy over on Entropiq. They got 1,500 on Lackey. Everyone else is floating around fairly low as well. So they're going to call their first tactical timeout of the map in only our 4th round. But Spirit on the other side of things are just fine. They're going to go in for a buy. Their economy, though, behind it's not great. And maybe that's why Entropiq are really mulling this one over and thinking if they do want to go in for a buy. And the fact that we now have Elian picking up that AWP suggests that they will be investing into this and trying to return the favor as soon as possible.
I think they really got caught off guard by that AK-47 buy as well. They didn't expect to open that round up with Mir just banging off 2 of their heads. 2-1 as we go live into round number 4. And yeah, Elian's got the AWP, but it's glass cannon. No armor behind it. He's going to go for a late peek. He's got the read. He's holding the right angle. And it seems like Degster is not going to give him the shot. Degster's just watching for some lower tunnels aggression. That doesn't come into play.
But aggression does very little so far. Elian is waiting. Smoke designed there to allow them safe passage. They need to jump up to that Xbox, otherwise Elian may very well have them. But he's also expecting this play's going to come in, already turning his back, expecting that maybe a flashbang would precede a peek. At Spirit, although they've taken quite a bit of damage, they've at least mitigated a lot of that utility. There's only 1 HE left and no incendiaries. So now that Smoke's coming in, Forrester up close going to have to do a lot with very little. Like he's put in the Deagle. 2 kills going at him. Make it 3 and nearly 4. Now it has become 4, and the AWP shot whiffs out from Degster. It seems this force buy from Entropiq that they called the tactical timeout for has worked a charm. And unless Dexter can somehow, some way dig them out this 1v3, they're going to be on the back foot very early on. He may have missed his window of opportunity. That 1 deke is sublime, as is the call from Entropiq.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it to the timeout. I'm going to give it to this opening shot right here from Lackey. That 1 deke headshot on the first kill. I mean, there's no way for the follow-up player to pay any mind to that boost box, even clear it out. Forrester is able to have a field day. Nice, easy kills. That's a good shot from Lackey and a good rebuttal from Entropiq. Now it's Team Spirit back onto the pistols, except for, again, the Hero AK-47 on Mir.
Very much reminiscent of a couple rounds ago where Mia just popped heads left and right. They'll be hoping that he can go ahead and then rinse and repeat here. Nickelback though, Molotov trained in, pushes it to the double doors. And with 2 AWPs in play for Entropiq, they're completely fine and happy to sit back and wait and see what Spirit do. They have the weaponry to facilitate a fairly comfortable round. And because last time it was mainly off middle, they played middle aggressively, Entropiq, and got picked off from the side of tunnels. They've sat way back, and it's going to make it a lot harder for Mia to have impact.
Way, way harder. Now, on the other hand, if he can find a way to have impact with all 5 players in the upper dark, both ops would be on a retake from the A bomb site trying to get in towards B. That would be a near impossible task. Here it comes. Forrester, this time they're caught off guard. And now, without that first kill, they're streaming through, but the weaponry is bailing them out. Spirit got what they wanted in terms of the angles, in terms of the fight, but just not enough weaponry to actually get the kills. And only Nickelback falls. Quad kill for Forrester and a 4-1 lead for Entropiq.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I felt like Entropiq, even though, you know, the stats and the kind of scorelines paint a very bleak picture with Spirit coming out certain favorites on this map, is that they do have a 16-7 win over Gambit fairly recently on Dust 2. So they clearly are a team that can put down a lot of pain and suffering onto opposition when it comes to this map. And so far they're showing us why. They've had a pretty solid showing with their double ups. Crad getting aggressive on long with 2 more players. The flashes are coming through thick and fast. That break transfer from Crad. The control he had over that M4 was astounding, and it's picked himself up too.
Like I feel like they wanted to fall back, and then Crad gets a double kill, and they're like, oh, nope, stick around. We can still fight this. All on Mir now. He knows there's been, 3 players spotted towards that A bomb site. That kill is going to make his lurk so much more effective. You can see him finding just the perfect timing. Sneaking in while the defense is cheating to the other side of the map. Dagster and Chopper don't even have to do anything because Mir's going to find himself a freebie right there. And this round is in a tough place. Nickelback, they know he's an A player. They're just paused and waiting, letting Mir kind of do the investigating as they look for a follow-up peek. They know Nickelback has to make some kind of a play if you're going to win a 1 versus 3.
Double peek in, Nickelback, the way he played on Nuke, you thought there was maybe a way forward. I like the little drop pistol to try and simulate that he dropped down into CT. The problem was that Mia was actually stood there and saw the pistol just drop next to him. So he didn't really buy anything at all there. Either way, 4-2 the score. And I've got to feel a bit bad for Crad. Like, he gets the opening 2 picks, it's a 3v5. They still lose the round.
Yeah. That's not ideal. Obviously, losing Elian to some nice spam. Good knowledge of the angles through the smoke at long to get Elian towards car. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, certainly you're not going to feel good. Here they go. They're going to fight for it again. Crad jumping right through the smoke. He's at blue box. They might not expect it, but the AK-47 reigns supreme. Same with Mir. And now, all of a sudden, Elian with this AWP. Oh, no. Missed a shot in the open. His Magics, he goes down. Now, one more. But again, he's flustered and bailed out by a teammate to bring it back into a 3v3.
First 2 picks going away as Spirit. The fact that they are actually struggling in this round speaks testaments to how quickly Entropiq reacted and how on point Elian's aim has been with that AWP. Now funnels them all the way across to the B side of the map where Forrester is waiting. You see, he has to watch 2 angles. He's not sure about middle. And now that he has Lackey coming up, maybe there's a way forward. Again, the 1D grapples the skull of the oncoming T's. They look to try and pierce and pivot onto the B site. And although they have taken down Forrester, he's wasted so much time that Lackey can now show his hand in the rotation. Oh, and Ellie pushes through the Molotov window and still kills Dexter. Are you serious?
That's what I was talking about when I said this map is just going to start out scrappy. That is a crazy play to make. If you miss if he's still watching that angle while you're burning and he goes down, you've just left your teammate in a 1v1 with like 20 HP. That he should be very happy he got that kill. What a big risk to take. But we like big risks. Good frag from Lackey here to save his teammate's life. And a 3-round lead for Entropiq.
man, I'm still mind blown. It's like you said, if he dies there for free, it's a 1v1 with 20 HP. But he also had the AWP, so it's like his window of opportunity. He has to be so precise on that shot in mid transit, pushing through a Molotov. For him to land that shot is outrageous.
Yeah,
whatever, it happened. Entropiq 5-2 in the lead. Now Spirit have pistols. They thought about going in for a full purchase, decided against it. Long control again. It's trying to be a tug of war between the two teams, but this time it's definitely lopsided in favor of Entropiq, not just in terms of firepower, but also in terms of the manpower that was put down there. So Nickelback has this under control, and comfortably so.
Surprised that they're actually not investing a little bit more into this round, considering they have to know the economy of Entropiq is nothing special, nothing to write home about. They just had a round that they lost with 4 players going down from the opposition. So I would have expected them to have tried to apply a little bit more economic pressure by getting some deagle and armor, maybe a little bit more utility, but we'll see how this goes. Run boost off of Catwalk, it appears. Karad's going to hear these. There's the scout shot. Flashbang out is dodged, and it's Krad's turn now to step up to the plate. He's got the first and nothing else. And now Elian has to give up the plant and just stay alive, but out in the open, big risk again, and he's going to not go down. Saved one more time by a teammate.
Magic's with the automatic fire, spamming that finger. Sunday Young, 7 HP to his name, but that's where his story will come to an abrupt end in round 8. It's another nice attempt, especially with a low investment. But it will be another round to Entropiq here, albeit at the loss of 3 lives. And I mean, their economy hasn't really fully stabilized either here, Moses. So they're not exactly in great shape right now.
No, they're not in the prettiest of shape. It's weird being in a 6-2 lead and almost being at a you're on like a little bit of a precipice here for the future rounds, and you've got to feel that if you're Entropiq as well, watching yourselves just buy up every single round. So Spirit, they have this window of opportunity. The door could close at any moment if they don't have a good round, and Entropiq survives with 4 or 5 players. But if Spirit can win one, that's when the leverage really kicks in. We'll see if they can pull it off here in round number 9. 6-2. For the defense, and an early trade going 1 for 1.
Early trade with Lackey trying to pick up the mantle, flash banged out, pre-fire through the smoke, but no one's there. There's 2 players in tunnels, but then the other side of his pre-fire angle there. Krad pushing in, again, taking the opportunistic approach, knowing that there's a momentary chaos and maybe lapse of concentration towards the catwalk side. Xbox gets picked in by 2 players, takes off the head of Magix, but Chopper's there to return fire, and he would have spotted the bomb on the back of Chopper. So that's why the smoke has instantly been tossed into Catwalk, but Dexter has plucked out Lackey, and in doing so, it makes Entropiq completely isolated from one another, opposite sides of the spectrum in the map.
I think Nickelback is making basically the only play that he really can. You got to control some part of the map where you only have to worry about 1 point of attack. Now, tough part is, yeah, he's making himself safe at long, but it's going to be real difficult for him to get back involved in the action. And I don't know, with this kind of a money, with this kind of an economy, you may want to choose to save, but Elian's going to at least go see if he can find 1 kill on Catwalk.
Molly tossed in for good measure, just to buy up a little bit of time. And it did actually land on Dexter, who's taken quite a bit of damage there, but they've already made the decision, the calculations, that they are going to go and save either way. It keeps them 2 rifles.
Still, I mean, it's next round, 1,400. You're just starting off on your lose bonus. You have none of it built up, so you're only getting $1,400. Elian's going to have the most money at $1,750. You can't even really drop anything to be excited about. So, 6-3, Dexter dies to the bomb from that damage that he took from the Molotov earlier. Another timeout called by Entropiq, as they would like to discuss their options with this kind of an economy. I mean, Elian can drop a FAMAS, and they could have a 3-rifle buy if they wanted to. If they were feeling real frisky, they could make this work.
I suppose if it's worth the risk, it's always assessing the risk versus reward here. And Dexter, this is his death, and that's actually an op that goes with him. I think they may have picked it up afterwards, though. But it's the risk versus reward, I guess. Like, if we force and we win, yes, we can maybe break the economy, but we have a 3-round buffer. So do we want to potentially throw away our economy here and give Team Spirit a chance to equalize? And it seems like they're kind of dipping their toe in the water, but they're keeping their options available for the next few rounds. Like Elian, 2.4K, Forrester has 1100, but 3 players are exceptionally low. It's quite an interesting purchase overall.
Yeah, hit aggression through the smoke. Elian's going to go down. That's one of the M4s. That's a risky play from one of your rifles to try and win this round. SDY, he's certainly got to be on notice after that kind of a push in mid. And man, yeah, to invest that much cash, that play didn't pan out, and that feels like a big loss all of a sudden. At least they did a creative way of investing in the round. I think it was Elian or Nickelback who had a Tech 9 as the sidearm from a previous round, and he just dropped that over instead of buying a weapon for a teammate.
Okay, well, it gives them maybe a road back in. That grenade not doing much. I think he did 3 damage to Dexter, but Crad takes the chance to push through middle, takes an AK for himself. He's wrapping all the way around the back. Nickelback's timing could not have been worse, but at least he trades up to the AWP. And in the meanwhile, Forrester's actually moving in. He's flanking. He's pincering into that player that's untunneled. Chopper, though, in the meanwhile, could be said to do the same thing. And the fact that Nickelback has died puts that pivot position from Forrester into a much less valuable spot, especially now as he is the last line of defense. Entropiq will be conceding a 4th. Now, Forrester is looking to just try and rummage together a weapon, and instead he just catches a bullet. 6-4, Spirit looking pretty good.
Yeah, just when all seemed lost. I mean, you called it out just 2 rounds ago. Even with the wins, even with the 6-2 lead, the economy of Entropiq was just like, man, as soon as you guys lose 1 round, it's faceplant time. I'm not sure what the advantage was for Elian coming through that smoke. Maybe just taking a risk that no one would be there that quick, that maybe it would only be 1 person and he had at least an isolated fight. Regardless, whatever thoughts and ideas about it, didn't pan out. And Spirit calls the B-Rush, and it works perfectly.
Yep, great antidote to this 11th round. And with Nickelback being caught by Dexter, looks like he will be able to hold on to his AWP. There was maybe a moment, I actually say that, maybe spoke too soon, although there is a secondary element in the form of Chopper who has sprayed down Ellie, and there will be no AWP trading hands into the next round. It does mean that the deficit is brought down to just 1 between the 2 teams, but Entropiq will have a bye into the next. And we've seen them go for double AWPs before. Curious if they try and go for it again here. Obviously, Dust 2 is one of those maps where most teams will be very open to the idea and the prospect of double AWPs. Has a lot of success, so I guess we'll find out what Entropiq's priorities are.
All right. Guns back in the hands of Entropiq. AWP on Elian. This is the second map of this series. If you're looking at the conclusion of the other series going on right now, VP versus 100 Ping Gods, Vince, they're being treated to an overtime of their own. Just the first overtime. As the series is tied up 1-1. That's the third and final map. Crad gonna swing out. That smoke makes it awkward for Magix, but he does come out on top. And Nickelback is slowly gonna crouch his way into the fight. 1 more headshot for him, and he's got control.
Excellent hold by Entropiq. It was looking a bit grim at one point. Chopper's going to be tossing in the smoke, or just waiting for his teammates maybe to get up close enough so they can cross towards Catwalk side. I mean, it is a bit telegraphed. When you're a player behind, maybe you want to still spring in that element of surprise. You throw that smoke down, it stands to reason. Entropiq will know that Catwalk will be aggressed on. This does allow them that chance to maybe strike and pivot in when Entropiq least expect it. They're also getting up close, throwing in the smokes for the cross. They're going to look to try and explode out here, but Nickelback has enough time to toss in a grenade and move across. Oh, that's a big grenade as well. Just shy of 150 damage, $300 well spent. It softens up all the targets to push the fight with, and now the flashbang is there. but he doesn't follow up on it. A low chopper still stands. They nearly line up for a double, but instead it's Dexter's AWP that rings out with one, and a second as well. Spirit have somehow snatched this round out of the jaws of defeat.
Oh dear, a 4-on-2, and you get nothing out of that defense. That's so brutal. I thought that pop flash would have worked just fine. It apparently didn't blind Team Spirit nearly as much as myself and Entropiq thought. Good shooting from Dexter with the AWP as he covers his teammates crossing into the bomb site, and we're all tied up now. And this one's got to hurt Entropiq. We're going to be tied. Again, they're going to be real low on money. I think they'll be relegated to, Deagle's armor utility. No rifles outside of the one that Forrester is saving. That's a tough loss to swallow.
Yeah, those are the kind of rounds that if you want to take this map and run with it, you've simply got to make sure that you put into play. They've been waiting for an opportunity to get a really solid purchase in. They finally get it. They slip, slide, and just fall out of it, really.
Dexter,
you can see the impact it has. It's 6-6, and their economy's wrecked again.
Yeah, that flashbang was in the right spot. Was in a decent spot to get them blind, but Dexter saw it just at the last second. Was able to turn away to only get partially blind. Nicely done from him.
Lone M4 gunman of Forrester. Smoke down into middle. We've seen a couple of aggressive plays from Entropiq pushing through the smokes, the likes of Elian. And in previous rounds, with 2 or 3 players in middle, that would have been suicide. But this time, actually, the bulk of Spirit are perched in tunnels. So that kind of aggressive play, no way of Entropiq to know this, of course. But when you're in this kind of a situation and a dicey spot economically, this is sometimes where those desperation plays come into effect. They got 4 players over on A. I'm not sure. We've seen Spirit go for this before. They take tunnels control. They jump up toward catwalk. They end on the A side of the map. So this stack, Moses, I'm getting a little bit nervous for Spirit. They may be moving into a trap.
Yeah, but even if they do, is there enough firepower? There's a nade. There's 2 nades. There's a Molotov. There's the M4, but that M4 is inside of the bomb site with no smoke to put on a Molly that might fall in his position as well, so he could very easily get cleared out into the open. Molly to slow down their cross. Good nade damage. Magic's pushing up. Forrester's going to peek. Good headshot. That's going to hold him off. Oh, another one. You were right, Vince. This stack is working out very nice, but they've won the initial battle. Now it's about going to help a teammate on the other side of the map, and Chopper's here in mid to cut off this rotation. All down to this back 10. He gets the first, and the M4 can't complete the trade. That's huge.
Chopper with 2 massive frags. He has been put down, though. 2v2. 5 seconds to play with. He has to stick on the site. And Dexter has his eyes trained onto the window, and it seems that Entropiq will not make the most of this advantage again. Noise has been made by Nickelback trading up weapons to the AK. Gives him those one-tap abilities onto the server, but Sam Dayoung is watching the cross. He does have Kevlar. Aim punch won't be an issue. Takes off the head, a bit of pre-fire as well. Dexter goes around the corner, and Nickelback tags him down to 40. Spirit take the lead again. Entropiq are trying so desperately hard, though, to pull these rounds out the fire.
Yeah, that was a great round. That was a great round from Forrester, and if he just could have completed this trade, the lack of head armor really hurt him down the stretch. Even so, getting it into a one-on-one, quite nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. 6-7 in the favor of Team Spirit. They have really started to come alive here on Dust 2. Slow start, but they've rattled off 5 in a row now.
Yeah, and that nuke performance will be a thing of the distant memory for Spirit now, because they have the lead and they're looking like they're getting a lot more success. Molotov is well placed. Nickelback has to come out. He doesn't have a smoke to deal with that, but be careful what you wish for. With his back to the wall, he is that much more dangerous, and Feral takes off the head, as does Lackey. The player advantage quickly shifts from Spirit to Entropiq, and they're looking to end this half solidly. 2 players left for the T's, one of which is Dexter pushing through tunnels. Does he check his left-hand side? Because if not, Lackey will have him dead to rights. He doesn't. Lackey lets him pass. He has all the time in the world. There's no reason for Dexter to spin around and check this angle anymore, realizing that each meter that he gets away, the chances of error are that much higher. Takes the frag, snatches it down, and Entropiq, they tie us up at 7 apiece.
All right, looking good. Looking to see who's going to take the lead into the second half. Very even affair here on Dust 2 so far. Full utility, full weaponry for Entropiq. Crad's a little bit light, but this is better than what they've had for a lot of the portions of this half. Fast play down middle. Dropping towards Catwalk. 2 players going to turn the corner. Now swinging on towards Catwalk. That's SDY and Mir, and Crad. Oh, a good pop flash, but he can't control the aim. And Mir's going to press the issue. He wanted 2. And I can't even blame him. He seemed to have had the advantage in the fight with Elian, who was just able to barely recover in time.
Yeah, I think it's that HE that saves him. It actually slows him down and kicks up the smoke and allows Elian to actually move back with the AUG. He goes in for another one. It was the HE that was tossed in from his teammate over on long side. Lackey, though, gets too antsy, gets aggressive, and gets punished for it. Now Nickelback maybe pushing that smoke into his demise as well. Indeed he shall. Some die young. Big headshot. Entering back towards the A side of the map, and Forrester is Molotov'd off. He had a great resurgence on Nuke. After a pretty lackluster start, at one point he was 4 and 12. He ended with a lot of ADR, and this would be a play that he'd be very proud of if he could pull this one off. First frag. Second, it was labored spray, but he was so close to neutralizing Chopper. As it stands, though, it's 8-7 to Spirit.
That's a good half. That's a very good half from both teams. Good start. But then an even better response from Spirit to come back into it and take the lead into the second half. Still going to be a very scrappy, tough game. I'm curious to see what this T side is going to look like from Entropiq. Here we go, pissed around going live. Flashbang over long to get Lackey out, and they see absolutely no defense whatsoever. No presence. Very mid-centric from Team Spirit. One close double doors, one close catwalk, and one way deep in mid to back them up. And now they're starting to clear it out, Vince. You could see Mir's pushing. Found an isolated fight. He does have a teammate on catwalk if he can back him up. And this is going to make Entropiq speed things up out towards long.
He kept 3 players interested. It wasn't just Mia, but it was another 2 were pushing in through middle. Forrester actually doubles up. He takes down Dexter as well. And the P250s and Glocks can swarm and just overwhelm Mages, but he just comes out with 2 massive USB headshots. And there's Chopper to clean up the rest. Magic's out of nowhere. Takes this round and runs with it. Pivots round for a 3rd. What a moment for him to shine.
I actually feel bad. Entropiq, again, a very, very good round. They had everything they could have wanted, and just unbelievable shooting from Magix. This is unbelievable. Out of the smoke. 1, 2, and even a 3rd later on as he just peeks up. That's one of those rounds where you can tell, like, you're like, yeah, my USP's registering today. I will take all 3 of these headshots.
Well, Lackey's Deagle, additionally, is registering, and it is onto the head of Magic. So I guess what comes around goes around. And now Dexter, ooh, he actually gets dinged through the door. Lucky to survive that.
That's no fun. Deagle. That's no fun at all. Nade looking to soften a couple players up, not doing nearly as much damage as Mir would have liked. 5 on 4. And the pin smoke is there as Mir looks for feet. Spam shots to the top of the box. And both teams are happy to kind of walk away just with a stalemate in middle. Actually, look at Team Spirit. They don't want to be this bored. They're going to double push into Upper Dark. They're going to start getting information. Shrink the map. They're going to clear out Upper Dark. You've got the other 2 players working on controlling long. Actually, Chopper is in for a world of trouble unless he gets a pop flash from a teammate. I think here it comes. Is it timed right? Yes, it is. Double kill and all the info needed.
Oh, Crad and Forrester watching the back, but Dexter from long range Neutralizes Elian with a huge headshot. Forrester now with his deagle. Going to be the next on the chopping block, and Dexter becomes the executioner. Huge kills. Great turnaround considering how lackluster that was looking. And a 10-7 lead.
10-7. Ooh, even blind. Good timing. He's got the feel. This was great. If that flashbang is maybe even like a half second later than it was, that could have been disaster territory.
It's that man again, Lackey, who had a lot of success in the previous round with his deagle, that has another one by his side. Wants to go out for the peak. Typically, you're expecting Magic's position to be inside the pit itself. So a bit of an off angle that catches Lackey off guard, which is really important against deagles. It's not a weapon that you can feasibly spray accurately, so you need that insta headshot. Otherwise, you are going to be repelled, as we just saw firsthand. Now, Entropiq will be picking up the pace through Catwalk. They have Chopper to deal with, who actually has a grenade lined up, so if he tosses this anytime in the next second or so, he'll be getting tons of damage. It's going to land on top of multiple players. He shreds through them with the FAMAS, and the rest of the round is now just falling into place. It's looking more and more comfortable with every passing second that Spirit play on Dust 2. Feels like they are definitely reset fully from that nuke performance.
Yeah, this looks like a Spirit that is supremely more comfortable on this map than on Nuke. Especially this CT side, they're working it very well. 11-7. Entropiq's going to need to, I mean, there might be time for another timeout, come up with a little bit more of a game plan. We shall see. 3 rounds straight for Team Spirit. AK's back in hand for Entropiq.
Right up close on the Xbox. Haven't really seen them take Catwalk control this quickly before. They typically are a little bit more flirtatious with this area of the map. So he's getting up here quickly. It's typically an area you expect the AWP to be playing on a close angle, hence the flash, also shoulder peeking it. Nothing in terms of sound cues. So he feels that he's comfortable to push up. So there's quite a lot of early information. Meanwhile, as you can see on the split screen, Lackey is watching from long, flashing over, keeping them interested, which will be Magic's position. He has played in a similar spot multiple times now. And that's really only a small fraction of the issue. It's even if you know where Spirit play, they're playing such slick and fluid Counter-Strike, it doesn't really matter because their crossfires are so damn good right now.
Here we go, execute onto Catwalk. All standard smokes. Dexter, not blind, peering to see if anyone's going to be running up Catwalk towards elbow. It's not happening. It's a B split as they apply enough pressure to A. Now going to try and attack into Mir and SDY. The AUG can't get anything, but Mir does double up. Oh, one more. Forrest drops down, and the B bomb site is closed. It's 12-7. I was well set up, Vince. Well set up. Had 2 players isolated in the site. No chance anyone from Spirit was going to be able to rotate over in time to help out. And they just didn't get the frags that they needed.
Yeah, this is a Spirit that is looking formidable, to say the least, here on Dust 2. You said before that, you know, you've played against them in practices in the past, obviously coaching, and they're a really frustrating team to play against. I think you're seeing some of those elements really come to the forefront here as well. But Entropiq decide, let's not mess about. Let's just get aggressive. We have some good long spawns. Let's make the most of them. And they actually do have a decent trade, a 2-for-1. And it's Chopper with only FAMAS at this range. So it's certainly not tailor-made and shouldn't really stand tall against the weaponry that Entropiq have.
Up towards long we go. Dropping both smokes for the cross. And waiting for the follow-up peek from Chopper. Good heads-up play. Entropiq on the verge of getting their 8th round. And yeah, certainly they've got it. Certainly this one can't possibly fall out of their grasp. And SDY is just going to back away. He's the only player on Spirit with low cash flow. So he's going to want to save that AWP, trade it over to Dexter for a rifle, and keep as much money in the bank as they possibly can. So 4 rounds back for Entropiq. Those are the shots you miss. The ones you really double scope and take your time and...
Well, I must have hit him in the toe. He got orbed. Barely scratched the surface, though. So what was it about Spirit that you found really frustrating when you practiced against them? Was it like their style? Were they hard to predict? What was it about them that kind of you found difficult?
It was mostly their east side, just constantly running into a lurker somewhere on the map. Like they would always just like be like take a part of the map, and then there'd just always be like a lurker that you didn't expect. They were just super good at controlling the map for long periods of time. So it was sometimes just frustrating. This was months ago, and they seem to be, at least against Entropiq, maybe due to being CIS teams playing a little bit of a different style, or just reacting differently. But yeah, they're just another one of those teams that has like really, really skilled players, and sometimes they're doing things that you just don't expect to see. But especially on this map, very, very tough team to beat.
Certainly been reflected in their gameplay so far. Crad, who's up close on long, has two players to contend with. Dexter has been tagged, and so is Crad. Both of them fall exceptionally low, but they still have the player advantage. Mia putting the bullet to the head. So Entropiq, it's one step forward, and it's a couple steps backwards, unfortunately.
That's a nice nade. Going to give away his position. He does have a teammate, Dexter, over at car to help him, though, so he doesn't have to swing wide for any fight. Now that smoke puts pressure on him. Those smokes essentially say you're on your own, but he steps up to the task. And Elian's going to back away. That's the bomb down, and they'll need it if they want to win the round, but at least for the moment, they've got to try and find some other way to apply pressure to this defense. What a great double kill for Magix.
Nice shot from Mira as well, through the smoke in the head. And Elian, especially considering that the rest of his teammates are kind of struggling right now, will probably want to hold on to this AWP. Does give them a gateway potentially to getting some rounds stringed together, but it's looking a bit dire now, a bit bleak for Entropiq. It seems like Spirit are just catapulting themselves towards the finish line here. If we need it, the third map would be Mirage. They still need to win 3 more on the bounce, but they're picking up pace. And I was actually off on the, because of the round loss, of course. They actually can still afford, but a couple players are a little bit on the low side.
Question is, are they feeling the pressure of the scoreboard? And I think they are going to end up buying into this. That kill's great. Wall set up to isolate him entirely, and he's still able to win it out. So Krad's got a scout. Elian's got an AWP, 2 AK-47s as well. So they've got some dangerous weaponry here, but they still haven't been able to really crack this defense. Just the one round. 5-1 run to open up the half for Team Spirit.
A couple of targets are at least weakened over on the B side of the map, and with that, maybe they are going to play more conjoined and won't be bothering through mid control as much. Maybe there's a way for Entropiq to try and push back into this round and make their presence felt. Dexter pulls back away from middle. So a smoke onto the CT side, which they do have 3 of them at their disposal, could be the difference maker. Shooting through the right side of the double doors just affords them a bit of safe passage. Dexter flashed off, but now can go back in for more. They still haven't smoked off the side, though. So Entropiq, if they were to just wide swing right now, it would be to their detriment. They've smoked it down, but they're water-king in 1 by 1. And Young and Mia will just be feasting and devouring the entirety of this T push. And although they've pushed on the B side, they've lost control of the bomb. They still have to try and get through to the other side of B now. This fortress, and it's just looking so unlikely. They may even just be pulling back to try and save at this point. And that's brutal considering everything. Considering the score, considering their finances.
Yeah, there's a lot of things brutal going on. Certainly the money just running low, running out, missed shot, and 14-8. And this one looks like it's just drifting away. It's already out of control away from Entropiq, and Spirit This is what we were talking about. That's why we mentioned Nuke was so important to this matchup, because Spirit was going to be tough to beat. It's fortunate for Entropiq. They were given some gifts on Nuke that allowed them to overcome Spirit in 5 overtimes. That's going to allow them to bring it to a third map, which would be, yeah, as you said, Mirage.
The long spawns as well. They run straight out, but it's into Chopper and it's into Dexter as well. And if that wasn't enough, they also have Magix to contend with, who's, by the way, shown his authority on this long side, whether it's pit, whether it's playing car. He can play any position on this side of the map, and he can make it work. Here with some aggression, good damage inflicted. Does get picked off, but now the Orc could start to rip through a couple of heads. And Scumdie Young puts Elian in a 1v3. Should he prove unsuccessful, which is looking more and more likely, especially with a flank around the back from Magix, that would be 7 map points. And Elian has bypassed the initial AWP shot. You have to just play aggressively, even through the Molotov. You have to roll the dice. He does just that. Minimal damage. Actually bypasses most of that Molotov. There are ways forward now. Tickling the bomb, trying to draw the players out to the open, and nearly gets it done. But Magix connects the grenade. And indeed, it will be 7 map points now for Spirit.
Yeah, we saw them give up some map points on Nuke, but I think 7 is too many on Dust 2. I can't see him giving up that many, especially with such an economic advantage that they have. And also, of just watching them play, they all smell blood in the water. They all smell the end of this map. Everyone is kind of hustling to get involved in the action, to get involved in the battles. 15-8, huge task ahead of Entropiq if they want to get anywhere close to overtime. A lot of nades out early. Fast-paced control of middle, already up Xbox and towards Catwalk. Lackey and Crad, actually, I don't know, all five going to come right through this smoke and see what they can do at the A-bomb site.
It's do or die. Last passage of play, perhaps, especially if Dexter continues to nail them through the smoke, through the flashes. Chopper can play up close in this smoke now. They've already got the player advantage. They must have a good idea that some of these players are the walking wounded over on the site, including Lackey. And with only a HE between the 4 of them, looking a bit dire. There's not a ton of utility, though, for the CTs either. Incendiary and HE. Chopper comes in. Big frag with the M4. Traded out instantly. Still on the site is Lackey, but the smoke clears, as does his life. And Forrest is trying to dust off the cobwebs with his AK-47. Trying to establish a little bit of superiority on the site. They're traded out again. And there is Nickelback. So there's 1 saved. 6 more to go.
Yeah, good aggression from Nickelback there right at the end, not giving any breathing room to that. Scrappy round, and Entropiq just a straight up exec through the smoke on Catwalk. And odd timing for Team Spirit they couldn't handle. But as you said, still plenty of opportunities to close this one out, as Entropiq's just fighting to get into double digits for the moment. But at least they have the benefit. I mean, the money is basically all gone for Spirit. Good buy here with M4 FAMAS, light on utility, but after this, it's nothing. So you're gonna have to hope if you're Spirit, it's like Dexter, get us a pick, get us an opening kill. In fact, he's just gonna perch up out towards the long corner, and he'll be the only one on that portion of the map.
Hasn't been a breath on just yet, but now Crad's starting to pick up a little bit of maneuverability through on Catwalk side. They are going to trade positions. Dexter, who was watching long initially, is now pushed back towards Car. Makes perfect sense with the AWP. They basically want to get him in the business end. Like, wherever the push is going to come, let Dexter's AWP rain out. Let him try and take a couple players, thin the herd, and they could potentially deal with him later on. Dexter pre-fires with that flash. The second shot is nailed on Crad, but Forrester in CT moving around the back is dealt with Chopper. And our post plant can come up fairly straightforward. Dexter is just watching and waiting for a potential pixel to show itself to execute from. And Forrester, who got that opening pick in CT, will be expected to be in a position like that. That's only half the problem. Dexter, though, continues to tee off. They give him freebies, and he's picked up 3 already. Forrester gets caught in the middle of nowhere, and now suddenly Nickelback's in a 1-on-3. Is back against the wall, trying to desperately hold on to Dust 2, save this map, hold on to it for dear life. The spray's laid, but there's one looking for more, but Scumdie Young on the drive-by removes his head. And although there's no kit, there should be more than enough time for this defuse. And we're heading